gente, yo soy Ronaldo, yo soy Díaz y acompáñanos el día de hoy, vamos a entrenar pecho. Vamos a empezar.
Damn, Ron, come on! What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow!
I always felt like I had a ticking clock, but the ticking clock became more apparent that I gotta make the most out of today because tomorrow isn't promised. What are you gonna do with the time that you have on this planet? What impact are you gonna make?
Because things change. And I think the key is recognizing that each moment is what matters. Today's all there is, right? There is no tomorrow, there's no next year. Enjoy today for whatever is in front of you.
But sometimes people gotta feel the pain themselves and they gotta go through it themselves. And I just think that when we say inspire the world to try, that's what it is. Like, go after it. Go after it while you can, because tomorrow is not promised.
I take situations that are the end of the world, and then I find inspiration in them. And then I live it full out, like there's no tomorrow.
150,000 people die every day. Tomorrow is not promised. So if I'm not going after it, then I'm gonna die incomplete. I'm gonna die being a person that I wasn't created to be. Like, I wanna meet the greatest me. I wanna meet my full potential.
Literally, you cannot play this forever, but while you're in it, you're in it. You gotta grind like there is no tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow. Man, I'll do it tomorrow. It can wait, it can wait.
I have to give it everything I have, like I know there is no tomorrow!
Tomorrow. Ain't no such thing as tomorrow. We only got today.
Tomorrow is not promised.
That's the game, right? Like, either you're right or you're wrong. Either you win or you lose. But if you're gonna come to me and tell me you don't have time, in a world where I work every fucking second for 18 hours a day, right? You're gonna have a tough time making me feel bad that it's not happening for you, because that's part of it.
It's simple. It's now or never time.
What would have had to have happened in a week for you to look back on that week with pride? Okay, maybe stop breaking promises to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m., and when the option comes to hit the snooze button, don't do it. There's one win that you've got for the day. That's action.
So it all comes down to this moment. This moment is the only time we can transform. And I say join now or never.
Don't miss the opportunity of this moment, because the days are going to be long, but the months will be short.
You have an opportunity. Seize the opportunity.
We all get wake-up calls. We get wake-up calls in our relationship. We get wake-up calls in our finances. And some people, the phone's ringing off the hook right now. They're getting wake-up calls on a bunch of things. They're at home with their family, and they're starting to realize, I was disconnected from my family. I haven't been plugged in. They got a wake-up call on their relationships at home. They've gotten a wake-up call on, I don't have any savings, and I'm deeply in debt. This isn't working. And so the cool thing is, when you get the call, then you have to make the choice. Are you going to answer the phone? If you pick the phone up, that means, baby, it's time to change. Are you going to answer the phone? Are you going to change your life where you say, never again?
Maybe it's time to increase your quality of life. Maybe instead of staying in the middle back seat, it's time to upgrade to the exit row.
Right, or business class.
Or maybe it's time to eat at a different restaurant. Maybe it's time to really think about your money dial and say, hey, I always claim that wellness is important, and yet I'm still eating like the same old thing I used to eat 10 years ago. Maybe it's time to upgrade what I eat and where I work out and all that kind of stuff, my gear. You can do that. Yeah. You've made it. You already won the basic game, so now you get to benefit from it.
I believe if you're the kind of person that has spent too much time thinking about where to go, then it's time to get in the car and start driving.
And you have to be able to pivot quickly. You have to be able to adjust fast. You have to constantly be aware of the changes around you. And you don't have time to kind of say, well, I'm going to give it 6 months and think about it. You give it 6 days and hit it. The fastest person doesn't win the race. It's the person who starts first.
Be the now of what you want to be later. It starts right now. And if you're not doing the now, don't ever expect the later to be the person you want to look in the mirror. Everyone's like, oh, later in life, I want to do this. Later in life, I want to do that. Later in life is turning around, looking in the mirror right now. That's the later in life. And unless that turnaround is something in progression, later in life ain't gonna be anything different.
Absolutely, you do whatever it takes, okay? Even if it risks your life, that's your dream. I made the decision that, look, this is what I want to do. Somebody's give me an opportunity, I'm gonna take advantage of it. I have 24 hours in the day. I try to take advantage of every hour.
Yeah, most days I just want to wake up and make the most of the time I have. I realize it's finite, and that I think I'm here for some purpose. That's what I was trained to believe by my own family spiritually, like we're all here for some purpose to give. Then mostly I'm just like constantly worried that I'm not fulfilling that promise. I was like, wow, if I'm not pushing myself to do more and to have more impact, then I'm not really taking full advantage of why I'm here.
Because if you spend your time learning too much and never acting, you're gonna fail, right? If you spend your time acting, but you're never learning what you're doing, you're gonna fail. If you spend your time chasing opportunity and never doing anything, you're gonna be at best in some famous person's entourage, right? I think that's how those people end up there. Because you see opportunity, but you never act.
As humans, I've realized like we all have these reservoirs of this untapped potential inside of us and can achieve these extraordinary things when we're focused, when we shine positivity and light, when we lean into those that we love and uplift and co-create together.
But we usually don't pay attention to what's here right now. Right now, you and I are here. Everything we think our story is, our accomplishments, our problems, are BS. We're just this moment. It's true. And everyone watching this, if you really understand the highest truth of what's going on, we're all even. There's no, this person is better or less, and there's none of that. We're just this space that's here. Now from here, you have sky's the limit possibilities.
I chased opportunity, like viciously chased opportunity. Then I learned once I got there, and then I didn't hesitate to apply it.
You know, the worst thing you could ever do is if you're pursuing the wrong dream or if your dream changes and you don't change with it.
I know from a personal level what that feels like to be in pain or to feel like you're not worthy or that you're never going to be anything.
And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to free my own mind.
Yeah.
And resentment and anger and all these things that I kind of would just keep internally. It's time to rewrite this story.
If you're about to make a change in your life and you feel uncomfortable, that's the best feeling you can have. Because for the first time in your life, you're making a decision that's going to be best for you.
Now is your time. It's your moment. It is your day. Now is your time to win. Now is your time to make a difference. Now is your time to have an impact. Now is your time to make straight A's. Now is your time to be noticed. Now is your time to be heard. Now is your time to be seen. Now is your time to do this thing. It's your moment.
The only belief that matters is that if you put time and energy into getting better at something, you'll actually get better. And that those skills have utility. And typically when somebody learns something easier, we say, oh, they were born with it. But the reality is they get a disproportionate return on the amount of time that they spend studying that thing. They still have to study that thing. And so you don't find people achieving just levels of greatness. You know, even take a LeBron, who the amount of time that he spends working on his craft, making sure that his body's in peak physical condition, reading the game, all of that. He has to do all that, even though he has also incredible natural talent. So it can be useful to look for areas where, hey, I have a love for this thing and I'm good at it. I get a disproportionate return. That's a better way to think of it. That when I put energy into learning this thing, I get maybe 1.3x return on that versus somebody else who might get a 0.7 return. But what I want everybody to understand is you get a return. And so once you understand that you get a return, it may take you longer. You may have to work harder than somebody else. But if you love it enough and you want to be that thing, then you can become that thing.
But now is your moment. Now is your time. Now's the time where the talking is done. Now is the moment where you got to make a decision. And the decision is simply this. Are you ready to take the next step? Are you ready to start the new chapter? Are you ready to go and build a legacy? Are you ready? Are you ready?
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
I introduce y'all to this very simple concept. That if you want it, you gotta go get it. Some of y'all got this concept of what you want to accomplish. You know, some of y'all are motivated by broke. I'm broke, I'm stuck, I'm fucked up, I can't do nothing. Other folks are motivated by materialistic things. It's a very simple concept. If you want it, you gotta go get it.
How bad do you want this? If it's as bad as you want to live or breathe or sleep, whatever the hell it may be, I can work with you. But a lot of people, most people don't want it that badly, which is why they always ask the question, man, how did you get to where you are? You know how to do it. You know exactly how to be you or how to be me. You don't want to do it.
You know, there comes a day, man, everyone's gonna have this day. There comes a day where being average, being mediocre is just sickening to you. It's just sickening, it makes you want to throw up. Because you've seen people with far less talent than you. As you're growing up with them, their childhood buddies, whatever else, they didn't have what you had. Yet now they're gonna become something that you haven't. There comes that day, it's either when you're young, you know, and it strikes you on the baseball field because you're sick of striking out, or it's when you get fired from your 5th job, you know, and your wife and kids are on your ass because you don't know how to support them anymore. There comes a day where push comes to shove, where being mediocre, being like average and shit just burns and sucks so much. You can't deal with it one more day, and you get off your fucking ass. And you create something that's always been there. It's always been inside of you trying to come out. But you've never wanted to unwrap it because it's too much fucking pain and commitment. It's time to unwrap the potential you can be. Superior, man. It's within you.
I'm not talented. It was life and death. Either you live or you die. Which one do you want, Tom? That was the decision. In the corporate life and in the gym. But if you want something bad enough, you can't let anybody tell you you can't do something. I'll repeat that. If you want something bad enough, you can't let anybody tell you you can't do something, not even yourself. A lot of days I'm like, oh, you can't do this, Tom. You can't be as quick as a 30-year-old on the computer. Bullshit! Let me show you. I mean, I would have arguments with myself. I could do it. People doubted me. I doubted myself sometimes too. But you know what? I watched Arnold fall down. Nobody remembers when he fell down. Arnold wasn't the glorified winner as he was in the first 70 through 75. He got up. I'm gonna become a famous film star. He became governor. He kept getting up and getting up. That's what it takes. To do anything successfully in life, you gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe. And if you want it that bad, if you're willing to give it that much, you get a big piece of what you want. And dreams do come true. Anything you want can happen and become a reality. I believe that sincerely, and I'll die on that thought.
I say I made a full commitment that I'm gonna go and be a bodybuilding champion. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna be in America. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna get into show business and I'm going to be a leading man. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I will do the work over and over and over until I get it. And the same was in politics, in everything like that. So to me, it is very dangerous to have a plan B because you're cutting yourself off from the chance of really succeeding.
One day I made a decision that enough is enough. I'm tired of being average. I'm tired. I'm tired of being good. I'm tired. I want to go to the dealership and buy the best car. I want to move to the nicest neighborhood. I want to fly first class. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Australia. I made a decision. Enough is enough. It's showtime.
The hour is now for game changers to emerge out of obscurity and into victory. Take the throne with everything that you have in you.
Nobody cares where you started. Nobody's stopping you. There's nobody that's got to take your resume. There's no grades that matter. None of it. What matters is, are you willing to hustle? And how bad do you want it?
Master the 3 W's. You got to want it, you got to work it, then you got to win it.
I know that's right.
Now, how bad do you want it?
A lot of times people tend to get very comfortable with themselves, and they're always celebrating the same victories over and over and over again. But the moment they get uncomfortable or they find themselves in a new environment, they either freeze up or they go back. You got to be the person that wants to go a little bit further in whatever it is that you're doing in your life. Remember, as you live, there is opportunity to be greater.
Dreams are that moment where you pick your head up and you get really quiet and you tune in to what your mind, body, and spirit is telling you. Kind of aim that inner compass out into the distance and you ask yourself, where do I want to go? Like if you think about 5 or 10 years from now, and the easiest way for me to figure out that is, who am I jealous of? That usually shows up a lot faster than who am I inspired by. Because jealousy is just blocked desire. You can't feel jealous of somebody unless you authentically want something for real that you think that they have. And the jealousy happens because you have somewhere in your psyche told yourself you can't have it.
That if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish or gulf, sickness or pain or body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim, you besiege and beset it, with the help of God you'll get it.
The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the